What's going on, everybody? Brick Builder here, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Super Survival. In today's episode, we are going to be working on building a armory because recently I've wanted to just have another build, and I think an armory would be perfect for this spawn town. And the reason why we're building one over in this general area is because this house here seems like an outcast, and I don't really want it to feel like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some space for a armory. We're gonna have a lot of materials because we are definitely a lot further in the game than we were when we started this town. So we're gonna have a very nice armory around here, and we're gonna be using a bunch of the leather we got from killing our cows for food, that we can use that, like we have stacks and stacks of leather that we can use to make leather armor, and then we're gonna dye it all. We also have some iron armor that I saved that we can also potentially use. But overall, we're just gonna go for a very nice design over here to kind of make this segment of the town seem a little bit more full, because it's currently very like under detailed and just like underfilled. It's very empty. We need to fix that, but we do have to be careful of all these different trees. There's a lot of trees around here. It's a bit unfortunate actually that there's all these trees, but it's no huge deal. We just have to break them down ourselves before we can really keep going. So like we gotta do something like that, and then those should hopefully break down themselves. Also, we're gonna just plop down our bed, and then I think we can start going with our design. Alright, so we might actually need to go grab a little bit of grass. I think that's what we're gonna go do. So let's quickly head back over to my storage hut. We gotta grab a bit of grass and a bit of dirt because we do not actually have any of that, because I want to make this thing relatively big. I want it to be a pretty large building in the town here, because I think it's just going to be very nice overall to have one of these. I think it's going to be very smart to have a build that we can just, you know, go in and look in for the heck of it. Like, there's no true purpose to this build other than that we want it to fill up space, and it's just going to be a big chunk of that area over there, and it's going to be big enough that it'll make the area seem full, so I won't have to put a bunch of other houses. I can just stop at the first one there. That'll be huge. I think that's a good idea. This is what we're gonna go for, but I would like to sleep, so nighttime is not exactly a problem. So let's just quickly pop in that bed and sleep it all away. And then I'm gonna get this all dirt laid out, expand the area, and then I'll come back to you guys when we get onto the house. Alrighty, so we just did the extending of the land, and now we can get started on the actual design here. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go right here. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're gonna have an 11 right there by 9 buildings. So this has to be 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, boom, and then like that. So it's a 7. It's a 7 by 9 plank. But then once you add the logs on the ends, you get an 11 by 9 build. So it's fairly large. It's not like massive, but it's definitely not small by any stretch of the imagination. And it's going to hopefully be the last build that we actually have to put in this spawn town for just a little bit of time, because I think we need to be wrapping up the spawn town and kind of be moving on to other projects in the world, and we can't really do that till this area is completely complete. And I did mention that it was semi-complete in another episode, but I've decided that we need to do a bit more work to this area, and this was like one of the last things we really needed to do, was fill in this area here of the world and of this area of the map, because it was just feeling kind of empty, kind of just like thrown together. You know, this one house over here that we put just seems kind of forced, and I don't really like that, so I had to come over here and we had to fix that problem, because it was definitely a pretty big problem. And now this build here should hopefully kind of bring it all together and make it seem a bit more alive in this area, because that's definitely something we want, because it being alive is definitely quite important to the overarching area of this town, because this needs to be like a flourishing area in the city that when you spawn in, and this is probably the first area you're gonna actually see when you spawn in, because you spawn like right over there. So it's important that you can tell that this town is alive, and that, you know, this house here isn't just like some random stragglers like house, but rather that all the houses are intertwined into some epic village fishing farm place. And now what we're gonna need to do is give me some glass. Okay, I didn't bring any glass either. I am so prepared for this build. I'm like massively prepared. Like, I have so many resources, but I always forget to bring them with me. Like, literally, I have like mending tools. I've got like full diamond armor, stacks of different building materials, but I can never remember to bring them. It's great. I'm so good at this Minecraft thing. But let's head over here. That's the wrong chest. Here we go. Give me those. That should hopefully be enough. I don't think we're going to need much more, if any. I think that'll be great. So, I mean, that's 84 panes. We're not going to have that many windows in this. So we're going to do okay with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to throw in the windows. So let's see what we go for window-wise. I think we're going to just kind of keep open windows for the most part. But I do need to bring this down one, like so. So they're just going to be 2 high windows because that's the thing we want. And boom, 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 boom. Just throwing nice, huge, massive windows. Although this window back here, I'm going to break up a bit just because it's kind of it's too big. Like, we don't want that many. We don't want that size of a window on the back wall. It's a lot. So we're going to go like that. We're going to break it up. And then over here, we're going to throw some glass like so. But by doing this, we should hopefully get closer to having our town look a little bit more completed, because the looks are everything. Like, we want this area to feel alive, and the best way to really make it feel alive is to have it flourishing and have it full of lots of different builds. And I think that by adding like other builds into the area like we've been doing, we really sort of like make the focal point of the area be on the fact that there's a large quantity of houses rather than just, okay, so there's a few houses here, you know, maybe it's a town. Now, like, you can tell because of the massive quantity that we have as far as, you know, houses go. There's just a lot. These are meant to be cobble. Alrighty, like so. And like that. And then we actually need to go with our scaffold, and we're going to bring our scaffold down like that. And then we're going to start throwing on the roof here and making it look very nice and fancy. And then boom, boom, boom. These become the spruce log plank stair, like so. And then I'm going to need some planks as well. We're going to go plank up there. But also we should probably start replicating this on that side, only because we want to make sure we get like a nice arch here, where, you know, where it meets at the top like all the other roofs in this area. Because a big thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you build a town, if you really want it to have like a little bit of lore behind it, which is a big focal point of this world, the lore, you need to make sure that most of the builds look similar in essence, that there's like, you know, a similar architectural style throughout them. So for instance, some good examples of what we did in this town, which I think definitely some people could take advice from, because some people don't do this. And it does work for some builders, but for the average builder, it doesn't. So the first piece of advice that you should definitely take into account is when you're building a town, it's always important that you keep a similar architectural style. So for instance, if you could tell, most of the houses are made strictly out of spruce wood as the wood. It just makes a lot of sense, and it keeps it in play. Now, the big thing with the whole spruce wood and why this is easy for us to do is because spruce wood was really the only active wood that we could have used in the beginning of the world, because it was the only wood that we had access to, like in giant amounts. So it wasn't like a commodity to have to go get it. It was just a very frequently, you know, harvested material, because we lived inside of a taiga hills biome. In addition to that, there's also the fact that this whole area here was once trees for the most part. So like literally clearing the land gave us the materials to build the house. Not that that matters too much, but it just helps with, you know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, clearing the land, as well as getting the resources to put what you're going to be putting there. It just saves a little bit of time and a little bit of resources, and in my opinion, I think that that did help us out. But for some people who don't care, you know what I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be how you do it. I could have built all these houses out of oak wood, but like it just would have been like I would have had to also clear the spruce trees as well as do the oak tree harvesting. So for like early game, that didn't make a lot of sense. So we went with this. Another big one that a lot of builders though don't realize is location. That matters so much. It's very important where you put everything. And this town is sort of a reflection of not really planning overall where things should go and why that might hurt you later on. And the reason I say hurt you is because this whole build here is literally being built because we didn't really plan where we're putting out the houses. So when we added the one here, it didn't work anymore. See, that was one of those big things that, like, if we plan this, we might not have had to build an armory right now, because an armory could really go anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to go in the fishing spawn village, but it's only here because we need the space. So that's definitely, like, quite an important characteristic that a lot of people seem to negate, is planning. I'm not a huge planner, but I do think it's good if you come in with a plan, or at least a semi-adequate idea of what you're going to be doing. Like, I did know there was going to be an AFK fishing farm, and I knew there were going to be docks, but, like, I didn't know where everything was going. You know what I mean? I kind of just went along with this town, and it turned out fairly decent in my opinion, but it definitely could have turned out a little bit different had I planned it. Not sure that'd be better or worse, but it would definitely be different. I do like sort of the organic, just that the organic style that this whole city has, where it's just like, okay, so the town people go, we need another house, and they just put another house. I personally think that works very well for this town, but it doesn't work for everybody and for every town, so that is definitely a thing. Now, to give this build a little bit of variety in comparison to some of the other ones, we are going to be using cobblestone stairs downward, like so, to just create a slightly modified roof that will give this build a little bit of its own character. Because the thing is, when you're building a town like this, it's very difficult for each of the builds to lose their sort of uniqueness and lose their character very quickly. And it's important that you as the builder try to, like, maintain a sense of unity between the builds, while also creating something entirely new with every build you add. If not, there's no real reason to add it. So, like, we're using this to fill up space, but at the same time, it's also gonna have a purpose of just holding armor on display. And also, it'll also be used just as a slightly unique area in the world, because it's one of the bigger houses in this area, because we built a lot of small things in this area and not a lot of larger size things. So by doing this, we've almost made it a little bit better in filling up space, which is definitely going to be quite useful, because the space here would have been left empty and would have made the town feel less full had we not done it. But now what we got to do is we got to get the floor in here, and thankfully this room isn't too big, so getting the floor in won't take too long. But it's definitely important that you do that. Another big one is the materials you use should stay similar. Everything should stay similar but not exact. And a good example of that would be, a good example of a build in this world that is similar but not exact would be this right here. This is our nether portal holder guard tower, and most of the builds are built out of, you know, spruce wood, but this one here is made out of cobblestone and andesite, and it just gives a little bit of a unique feel to it. It makes it seem like it's not, oh, just another house. You know what I mean? It feels unique, it feels special, and you can tell that just from the outside, which is very important, because it's difficult sometimes to get what you're looking for. You know, where if you want to make something really stand out, you've got to be able to change the material, but change it in, like, a better way. You know what I mean? Like, you can't change every single house's material, because if you do, what's going to happen is it's not going to look like a town. It's not going to look unified. It's going to look very split. And you're not looking for a split town. You're looking for, you know, a town that's built generally off unity, and kind of like the same people worked on this town throughout existence, unless your lore says otherwise. But it's just important that you really kind of know what you're looking for before you go in with your build. Like, what's the practical purpose of your town? You know, whether it's just for good looks, or whether there's a further meaning behind it. Whatever your purpose is for building your town, make sure that resonates throughout the entire town. You know, this town here is just a spawn village. That's really what this town is in essence. So everything that's in here is something that I would need early game. For instance, we got our wheat farm, we got our cows, enchanting, nether, you know, storage. We got, like, our spawn house. We got all the sort of things that we need. And then we have the merchant village over there, which is just there for lore and just being there because, like, why not? You know what I mean? That's just one of the things we wanted to add to the world, give it a bit more character. But it wasn't required by any stretch of the imagination to finish the world. So its purpose is a very different purpose than, to say, the armory here, or to this whole village. Like, there's different reasons that, you know, you build things. And, okay, we can actually do stuff like that. I'm cool with that. I want to do stuff like that. where we make these armor stands go like so. But I just think it's important that whatever you make a build like world, you try to go for some form of unity or some form of style that resonates throughout it. It's okay to get creative, and by all means you should, but you shouldn't negate the concept of keeping some basic unities. This one here is going to get destroyed, and I want to put it here. There we go. Alright, now we have lots of armor we got to go craft. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to take our leather back with us, actually, because I also want to grab the iron armor. In addition to that, I also want to take dye and actually dye some of the armor that we're going to be using, just because I feel like having dyed armor would be quite nice inside the armor, just for a little bit of extra detail. Plus, it's not like we don't have dyes. We can definitely afford to dye some things, so we are going to do just that. Give me a tiny bit of lapis. We're not going to go too much lapis though, because we need that for building. And down here we got some colors, and then also we should have some flowers right here. Yes, we got lots of red, so I'm gonna make a tiny bit of that, and then also I'll make some purple, I guess. That could be nice. And cyan. There we go. That seems like we have enough color, although actually we could take white and that as well. Alright, and now let's see what we already have. We're going to take this set of iron armor, this set of iron armor. Okay, and then we're going to make some more sets right now. So let's make a few chest plates. Well, actually, let's not take the iron armor just yet, because I want to make my chest plates first. So we're going to make 6 chest plates. Alright, because that's how many we're going to give chest plates. That's 7. Well, that's alright. Whatever. We have an extra. Throw it in there. We'll use that at some point. We're going to make 1 purple. We're going to make 1 white. We'll make 1 green. We'll make 1 black. We're going to make 1 blue. And we're going to make 1 red. Alright. I think that looks pretty good right there. Now, we got to make pants. We're going to make 6 pairs of pants, because that's what we want as far as armor goes. And then we're going to dye these, and we're going to go 1 red, we're going to go 1 black. Actually, we're going to make 2 black. We're going to make 1 purple. We're going to make 1 cyan, and we're going to make 1 white. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to head over to our little area. We're going to throw these pieces of armor on side stands, and then we're going to see if we want to do helmets and boots or not. We'll figure it out after we put the armor on. But it's definitely important that you keep a similar style throughout your town. You know, don't go changing up the building style. If you do want to change your building style, then make another area, or make another area in your world, or another just segment of the map for it. You don't really want to, you know, over exaggerate one area. Alright, also we're going to be putting these straight as opposed to can I get out? Yeah, okay, come on. There we go. Great, give me these. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to turn these. But it's just important that you don't like go changing up the style of an area too quickly. If you change up areas too frequently, it will really destroy the whole sort of look and vibe of your area. So just be careful with that sort of thing. You don't want to rush it. You want to plan it. You want to make sure that the style is similar. All right, we need to make more pairs of stuff. But now actually, since we have the dyes on us, we can just do it right here. All right, I don't know how many more chest plates we need, so let me actually go count. Here, we have 1 without a chest plate, 2 without a chest plate, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6, maybe 7. I don't know. Either way, whatever. Let's make a few more here, and let's start dyeing these. We're going to make a few red, only because we're pretty low on certain dyes, and if we can kind of keep the chest plates more like that, that'll work. All right, we got to just space these red ones out, so red there, and a red right there, and then we're going to throw a black one there, green one there. Okay, we need 1 more. I was correct in 7. All right. We're almost out of the leather, but that's all right. We have a ton more back at the base if we need it. Plus, I think we only need a few more pants. I think that's pretty much all we need to do is just give them some pants, and then we should be good. All right, there we go. Let's just start dyeing up these, getting some nice colorage on them. Give me a pair of purple ones, and then Let's go for a blue pair. There we go, like a pair of jeans right there. We got the Billy jeans. All right, and we're gonna go boom, 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 and now they all have armor. And actually, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not even gonna give them pants. I'm not gonna. They already have pants, so I don't have to give them that. I'm not gonna be giving them any form of boots, or not gonna give them any sort of helmet either, because I just don't think that we need to put that much armor on them. I feel like they look better without it, actually, so we're not gonna worry too much about it. But hopefully you guys did enjoy today's episode where we built our armory. In addition to that, we also kind of talked about some advice for your build, so hopefully you guys took my advice or you listened to it, and let me know your feedback on it down below, and whether or not I followed my own advice throughout building this town. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Minecraft Super Survival. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!